Hey there, my name is Doug. I'm going to walk you through the entire process of applying for the non-lucrative visa here in Spain, also known as the NLV. So my visa application was actually approved November 15th, 2023. Well, it's November 30th, 2023 right now. And I'm in Spain. So what this means, I have to leave Spain, fly back to LA, go to the LA consulate, get my visa, fly back to Spain so I can actually finish the process. For me, this has been a little stressful and a little crazy, but I'll explain all that in another video. Right now, I'm going to walk you through the entire process that I went through in order to get the application going and get your appointment for the NLV. But before we get to the paperwork, you need to figure out which consulate you need to work with. As of December 2023, there are 9 consulate generals of Spain located here in the US, and each consulate has a specific jurisdiction. So, based on your location, it's very important that you start your NLV process with the correct Spanish consulate. In my situation, my home address is in Arizona, which means I need to work with the Los Angeles consulate for my NLV application process. Once you've determined your Spanish consulate, it's time to get your paperwork in order. Now, there are 10 required documents that you need in order to apply for the visa. If you're a family, you'll need 9 of those documents for each individual person, including infants, for you to apply. I'm an individual applying, so that's how I'm going to speak about this in the video. Open the website of the consulate that handles your jurisdiction. In the top right, click to change the language to English, then on Consular Services. Once the page opens, scroll down to Visas and select Non-Working Resident Visa. There, you'll see a list of required documents for the NLV. All right, are you with me so far? Good. Now let's talk paperwork. The National Visa Application. Open the link on the website and print it. If you're prone to mistakes, print 2 copies. Translate if necessary using whatever method you're comfortable with. I typically use DeepL as it tends to be more accurate. The application will require information about an address in Spain, and 2/3 of the application request information about coming to Spain to live with family, go to school, or work. You'll only need to fill out the page 1 and 3/4 of page 2. And I actually signed page 5 and dated the application during the appointment. Okay, that wasn't so bad, was it? All right, let's move on to number 2, the non-working visa application EX-01. Unless it's been fixed, the link for the EX-01 non-working visa form doesn't work. However, click the link and it'll take you to the Ministry of Social Security and Migration. In the top right page, click Buscar, which is search. Type in EX-01, click the magnifying glass, then the first item at the top of the list is the form you want. 01 Formulario Residencia No Lucrativa. It's a PDF. Download and or print that form, or if you're just ready, fill it out. Back on the consulate website, there's a very helpful link that will walk you through step by step how to fill out the form. And again, I signed and dated this form at the appointment. Okay, number 3, the passport photo. Now, if you have a passport, well, you've done this before. Just make sure it's a recent photo. Number 4, a valid passport. Now, if you haven't done this yet, then I suggest you go do that, and then when you're finished, come on back and finish watching the video. Now, for the application process, many of these documents will need to be translated into Spanish, notarized, or apostillated. I'm going to cover that in another video so we don't get bogged down here. Let's move on to the next document. Number 5, proof of financial means. Now, this could be a roadblock for some people. Basically, as of 2023, if you're applying as an individual, you'll need approximately $32,000 in the bank. If you're applying as a family, you'll need $32,000 plus $8,000 extra per person. Oh, and you're not allowed to have loans or mortgages when you apply. Now, if you're under 65, you're going to have a proof of a pension or at least a letter from your last employer stating that you will not work while you are here in Spain. If you're self-employed, which is my situation, you'll have to provide an affidavit that is notarized and signed that states you will not work while residing in Spain. Now, if you've got all this covered, let's move to the next part of this. You'll also have to go to your banking institution and have them provide you a letter on their letterhead that shows how much you have in the bank. You'll have to provide 3 months of your latest bank statements and this year's tax return. In my situation, I gave them 2 years of tax returns just so that I was covered. Okay, number 6, health insurance. So for me, that was an easy process. I had someone here in Spain. They helped me find different private insurance companies, and we had them send us quotes. And then from the 3, we chose one. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Any insurance that you find here in Spain is going to be better than what you can get in America. To give you an example, on average, a monthly cost for full coverage was right around $100. And I'm not lying. That's full coverage. I'm going to leave a description to the 3 companies we selected from in the description below. Once you've chosen your health insurance company, they will send you documentation to say that you are now being covered. You want to make sure you bring that documentation to the appointment. Number 7 is the criminal background check. Now you can do this 2 ways. You can do this federally through the FBI, or you can do this locally through your state government. I chose to go with the FBI, and I'm going to walk you through how I did that on their website. It was actually fairly simple and much quicker than I expected. Now, before I go over that detail, if you got something out of this video, it would be greatly appreciated that you subscribe. Now in part 2, we're going to pick up right where we left off at the FBI background check. See you in the next video. 15th, 2023. It's November 30th,